Well, welcome to the 700 Club. For today's headlines, let's go to the CBN News Desk.
Gordon's Secretary of State John Kerry is talking today about the U.S. vision for peace in the Middle East as tensions remain extremely high between the U.S. and Israel following the Obama administration's actions at the United Nations last week. The administration refused to veto a Security Council resolution against Israeli settlements. Paul Strand has the story from Washington.
Spokesperson for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel has, quote, ironclad proof the U.S. was not only supportive of the UN resolution condemning Israeli settlements, but that the White House helped put together the entire deal. The State Department says that just isn't the case.
We reject the notion that the United States was the driving force behind this resolution. That's just not true.
Israel is pushing back against countries that supported the resolution. In a phone call to the president of New Zealand, Netanyahu reportedly called that country's promotion of the resolution a, quote, declaration of war. Israel has also cut its aid to Senegal for its support of the resolution. But Netanyahu does have allies in the U.S. Some leading Republicans want Washington to cut its sizable support of the UN, including Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton.
We should seriously consider withholding all funds from the United Nations until this anti-Israel resolution is rescinded entirely.
The American Center for Law and Justice has filed a lawsuit against the Obama administration for allowing the resolution to pass. Chief Legal Counsel Jay Sekulow saying in a statement, quote, it's our sacred duty to defend Israel. Now the ball is in the court of incoming President Donald Trump. The president-elect has been a supporter of Israel and critic of the UN. And others are criticizing the Obama administration's action at the UN as well, with the human rights organization, the Wiesenthal Center, calling the passing of the resolution the top anti-Semitic incident of 2016. Meanwhile, France is hosting a peace conference on the Middle East in January. The French say the conference will go ahead despite the controversy at the UN, but Israel said months ago it wouldn't attend that meeting. And here in Washington, Secretary of State John Kerry is laying out the Obama administration's blueprint for a plan including a Palestinian state in hopes of putting an end to the latest political firestorm involving the outgoing Obama administration and the politics of Israel and the Middle East. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
On Sunday, Christmas Day, Israeli police expelled Palestinian men from a church in the heart of Jerusalem they had taken over by force and desecrated. The Times of Israel reports the police were trying to return the Living Bread Church to the pastor, Karen Dunham. That comes after the church was attacked just after Thanksgiving, apparently by Muslim militants. Chris Mitchell brings us that story from Jerusalem.
This is it. It's all of Karen's. All of Karen's stuff, everything. This is what's happening to Living Bread Church, right here.
Michael Hilsden, a former volunteer at Living Bread Church, recorded what happened. Most of the church property and personal belongings of its pastor were burned in this dumpster.
Everything's burnt. Everything. Cool.
It was an act, really, I felt, of terror.
Karen Dunham pastored the Living Bread Church for 10 years. On Saturday, November 24th, Muslim neighbors came into the building and ransacked it.
They've destroyed everything inside. That dumpster right there is full of stones. They tore out the floor, they pulled out the wiring, they punched holes in the walls.
This is what the church used to look like. This is what it looks like now.
You know, I've been there 10 years, or longer. I mean, it's just I've got diaries where you write down what God says to you, Bibles, and they burn all the personal stuff.
The ones who vandalized and seized the church claim the rent has not been paid and that they've been trying to evict the church for 2 years.
We have a legal right to be there right now. Yeah, our rent is paid till next year. Yeah.
And you have a 20-year lease.
And I have a 20-year lease. We have every right to be here.
Do they have every right to do what they did?
None.
The dispute goes back years. In 2014, the Jerusalem Post covered how Dunham's neighbors harassed church members and stole property. Yet this time, Pastor Dunham decided against pursuing legal action.
The biggest power is conquering love. And he said, I want you to go and love those guys. And I want you to tell them you forgive them. And I want you to tell them that your God is in the building waiting for them. And release that building back to me.
The incident troubled a number of local Christians.
very, very sad. I can't believe that it's happened for us. I can't believe that I am in Israel to take house.
Church members and other local Christians held a prayer service outside the church, expressing hope for the future.
Living Bread International Church, just because they knocked holes in the building and destroyed the building, Living Bread International Church is still alive.
Others expressed hope local authorities will take action. Regardless of the outcome, they believe God will redeem this situation. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Here in the U.S., earthquakes shook a major resort area. Lake Tahoe got an early morning wake-up call Wednesday around 12:20 a.m. when the two earthquakes that were felt across two states hit the region. The U.S. Geological Survey says the magnitude 5.7 tremblers were centered in a remote area of Nevada and around 70 miles southeast of Lake Tahoe. It is reported that the aftershocks were felt in Carson City, Nevada, Yosemite National Park, and Mammoth Lakes in California, all 60 miles from the epicenter. Most Americans believe the upcoming year will be better than 2016. That's according to an annual poll by the Associated Press and the Times Square Alliance. A survey of 1,007 Americans reveals that 55% believe their circumstances will improve in 2017. That's a 12-point bump over last year. And consumer confidence is also up, reaching the highest level since 2001. That's following a huge rally on Wall Street. Some analysts expect the economy to improve next year in part because of President-elect Trump's plan to cut taxes for individuals and businesses. And speaking of taxes, let's go back over to Terry with some advice about tax-deductible giving.
It's almost the end of the year, and that means time's running out for you to make a charitable donation that you can deduct from your taxes this year. We'd like to encourage you to give to CBN. When you do, your gift helps bring food, clothing, medical aid to people all around the world. And it's also used to spread the gospel. Because your donation is tax deductible, you'll be saving money on your tax bill. So in short, you'll be a blessing and you'll be blessed as well. So will you call now? 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. You can also log on to cbn.com. We'll be back with more of the 700 Club right after this.